So we've covered more or less the first, well, major generation in this game. And it looks like we're going to go climbing up to the next ones. Both figuratively and literally, because we're going up a family tree, but also this house is tower-shaped on this side. And we haven't really been much higher than the second floor yet. Meals ready to eat. Oh, you gotta be careful or you're gonna fall through the floor up here. Dangerous being in the attic.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Oh. It's a baby gate. Oh no. Dead babies. We already lost a toddler or something. Great. Oh, great. You lived for 1 year, maybe. Is that the doctor's note? Let's see. Divorce. No, don't put it back. I'm trying to read it. I was trying to unruffle the page because I couldn't see it. Can I, like, just make it not fold up? Okay, I can make this work. So, Kay Carlisle and Sam Finch divorce contract. Lawsuit's been filed against you. You have 20 calendar days to respond. Looks like it's all the basic legal stuff you'd expect. Sent to Sam Finch.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
This is bizarre. I'm playing as a baby in a bathtub, or a sink, more accurately. Making music. Oh, I'm controlling this.
Back time's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
So clicking goes down and then flies back up. There we go.
What his world was like.
Little baby having magic while in the background his parents get a divorce.
So much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
This is ridiculously magical. It's like a Mary Poppins situation. Can I knock the magnets down? Oh my god, look at the trajectory we took. Can I trigger the sink? I mean the shower by hitting the knob? Oh no, is this gonna end with me turning on the tub and drowning?
Made him happy.
It seems like the children's levels are particularly fantastical and not based in reality the same way. Probably intentionally. Because you're talking about your game killing babies and children and stuff. So maybe go a little more abstract with those levels than the ones with the adults where they get thrown off cliffs. I got a super bouncer.
I know how silly it sounds. That I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
Oh no.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw. Hey, there's so much I don't understand about Gregory. About everything.
Yep, we're playing as Drowning Baby. That's...
But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Oh boy. Yeah, that was more literal than I expected. We just straight up watched a baby drown in a tub. In first person. Things you don't exactly expect to be systemized in video game mechanics, but it was. And then they got a divorce. They're probably already on their way to a divorce, judging by how some of those conversations kind of sounded. But they definitely got one then. Damn. And there's the toys he died with, it looks like. There's the duckies. Yeah. Boy, oh boy. It's interesting, we went through a mausoleum out there, but not a mausoleum, but a cemetery out there, and it's interesting seeing how this stuff actually kind of is almost more complete in a weird way. Like, all the ones that have a room in the house, their cemetery, like, grave locations are almost redundant as a memory thing because of how detailed this stuff is. And how textured it all is as opposed to a single piece of stone.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Well, 13 years. That's more than one. So this is about how our character's mother, both of their siblings died at ridiculously young ages. And she moved on, because there's no bed here. Because she moved to a different room, probably. That's horrifying, though. Like, did they have to live in the same room as the baby that died in only 1 year and sleep next to it forever, like for years and years? Like, you're gonna really like mess with the psyche of your children at some point, aren't you? Kind of like that hunter guy, Sam, who lived across the room from his dead sibling for like a decade or something. Not literally the dead sibling, but it's like it's all labeled and set up to remember them in the same room. It's not like just a phantom of memory, like, oh yeah, there used to be a bed for that kid there. It's like, no, it's right there.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Well, this is a trip. I'm unveiling the poem with kite powers.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
So Gus took issue with the idea of there being a wedding in the house. Bit of a firm stance for a 13-year-old. It's gonna hit an electrical wire or something, isn't it? This kite's gonna kill
Talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her. We don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife.
Okay, we're talking about the parents getting married. That's not too normal to argue against. Then that happens all the time. It's really neat seeing this entire location transform for all these different memories.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Nice kid.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Is he gonna... Wait, is lightning gonna strike the... I think lightning's gonna strike the kite. Holy crap. That's awful specific. You know that this place is tinged... This family's tinged with death at all times when even a wedding has a child dying during it. I'm just crashing into stuff at this point. It's weird, there's kind of like a 2D-ness to it all. Oh, whoa.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
I'm just summoning up a storm here. Oh, this is neat.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
He was a stubborn one, wasn't he? Till his son died.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Damn. So they struggled with something. He was just so stubborn out there, so angry about the wedding and stuff. Being a 13-year-old, and then he didn't get struck by lightning apparently, or at least that's not the suggestion. But he was out in the storm and something bad happened and no one witnessed it. So all we really have is the suggestion. These are so specifically poetic, too. Look at that. What are the details here? There's a... Ready, Set, Dead. It's a cassette. Trick or Treat, Smell My Feet. Chipley, Danger. So I think he looks like he was into horror movies on VHS. And his kite. Music. He's got headphones here. And he had a dyed mohawk at the age of 13. His parents put up with that. Oh, there's the kite. Still mostly intact. Streamers are very different lengths. Oh, look up there. So they just started building up and up and up, huh? They had lockers in their bedrooms. Huh. Maybe the idea was that they could lock the lockers... Yeah, they probably had keys, so like it's probably how they keep their individual stuff separate. Since people would probably... I mean, siblings fight over belongings and crap like that. I'm noticing now that all their text is military print, including Gus, but then he put his skateboard over it. Because he didn't like the military print labels. Strength, respect, and teamwork. Growing up in Sam's family. Because you gotta remember, we're experiencing this stuff non-linearly, so there was a chunk of time where... There was a whole chunk of time where Sam was still alive. Let's see, what's the timeline here for Gus versus Dawn? So, Gus was actually 1 year younger than Dawn, and Dawn looked like she was probably a teenager during the hunting trip. So Gus was probably dead, so she already had 2 dead siblings by then, by the time they went on the hunting trip. And it may even have been that they may have been doing that whole trip with Dawn specifically, because Sam was like, well, both of the boys died, I guess I'll take the girl hunting and see how far we can make with that, and stuff like that. Like, sort of transposing gender roles because you ran out of the people you normally would do those activities with. And it seems like maybe Dawn may have finally moved out of this room when Sam died, because there's a military cap in Dawn's locker, which would probably only belong to Sam, which wasn't an occupant of this room, but she probably shipped up and left when that happened. Put the helmet in here, leave the locker open, take the bed, move out. Even the drawer is open, as if stuff was taken out of it, although that's a weird detail. Like, just, do you think they would just close it? Everything here is still left here for the baby. When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. With sympathy. A lot of sympathy notes. The cards they got when he died. Not a happy time. So I think we're gonna find that Dawn may have taken moves to... taken steps to try to fight back against this apparent curse that seems to claim every single member of the family in increasingly esoteric ways. Well, some of them die in really plain ways. Calvin fell off a cliff because he was very young and very stupid, and Gregory got drowned because of negligence and stuff like that. And like, some of these people have died in very everyday ways, whereas probably the most fantastical death so far was Walter, who seemed to become aware of a curse on this family, or buy into the belief of it at least, then spend all this time hearing the rumbling in the background all the time, this constant threat, and not seemingly not knowing what it was, but you think he would know that it was a train, like that everyone would know there was a train around the house. But the idea that it was the sole thing he focuses on is the rumbling of this train all the time. And then when he finally gets the courage to step out of his room once, he immediately gets killed by that train that he was afraid of all this time. And it's like, it's so weirdly specific, and it's like it's so avoidable, but it's all weirdly poetic and in sync and everything. It's distressing. So Dawn probably tried to fight it back, right? Find some way to get away from this. Raise flag, breakfast, and quiet time. So their days are scheduled. There's your military dad. So Dawn was supposed to sweep and do the trash. Gus was supposed to mop and mow the yard. Greg was supposed to be a baby. This is, these notes were put up at a very specific time. Do 100, so everyone's supposed to do workouts, apparently. Jump rope, jumping jacks, push-ups, crunches, run to the mailbox and back. Okay. Goblins and ghouls. Ooh. They've got a D&D manual. General's General. The Call of the Kite. Prone. Returning Home. Ridgeback. Beginner's Barracks. Interesting. Oh, those are all nondescript books. So it's like... There's some D&D stuff, some fantasy stuff, some military stuff, and then individual hobbits like the Kite and things like that. There's like a specific range to it all. There's the jump ropes. They had a rock climbing wall in their house? What the heck? That's badass. Is that how I'm supposed to go to the next room? A freaking rock climbing wall? But I'm preggers. That's a bad idea. Although I forgot what the number of weeks it was. That could be a... Maybe I'm not super preggers.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
So it looks like she probably had to climb that every time, right? It's not even... She's just overlooking the same place. So looking at the schedule here... Gregory died 5 years before Gus did. What is the timing of that? So, Gregory died 5 years earlier, which means... And those notes were put up when Gregory was supposed to be a baby. That means that Gus was doing all that workup routine was set up with mowing the lawn and doing the jumping jacks and running to the mailbox when he was 8 years old? It's a little early to be giving your kid a workout routine, I think. I don't know. I don't know how to have kids. I mean, well, you know. There's Sanjay. So that's who she ended up finding out there. Is that Vatican? Is that the Vatican? No. Yes? I'm bad at recognizing buildings sometimes, and that's a really low detail. Fly to India. No, it's probably... Is it Taj Mahal? I'm bad at this. Vatican got planted in my head because I saw Holy Bible, obviously.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Look at that. So she went out, she turned to religion, then started doing humanitarian work. Went on trips to India, where helping hands create safe places. Relieve, provide, sustain. What 10 ways to teach critical thinking. Oh, neat. I like this person. And this is depressing. That overlooking that is depressing. Oh. So many books right next to where she sleeps, too. So she was sleeping up here. That's where they took the mattress. Cool kind of location. I think we're supposed to go up more, but of course I've got to ride this, even though the fun of having this is kind of undercut a little bit. It's like, oh, cool. They got a fireman's pole in the middle of their house. How cool is that? Oh. It's a fireman's pole that drops you down in front of a memorial of your dead sibling every day. That kind of undercuts the glee of having that. I imagine skin burns also undercut the glee when you use the pole incorrectly. That'll teach you to wear pants.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
One of her brothers now. Now, we reached the point now where we're talking about the family and siblings of the protagonist. Assuming we're playing as Edith. I still think we are. Milton Finch. Those notes are just everywhere. How did they not get blown away by now? I know it's a cool visual and all, but... So there's our explanation of how we didn't get up here sooner, is that the stairs are collapsed. Because obviously this is not how the normal way you'd get up here.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
So,
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
So Dawn lost her siblings, moved out, traveled the world, met someone new, had kids, and then, at long last, the husband died. Too young, again. Doesn't say when, but soon enough. Because there's only so much range for the time to be in here. So the husband also died, seemingly because everyone in this family dies, even when you marry in. At weirdly young ages, in many cases. And so, she finally came back to Edie, back to this house. And it didn't help. And then she probably had to face the same tragedies all over again. Aww.
And to see kids in the house again.
They started gardens. So Edith's little garden, which apparently has little people posed in it, which is a trip. Milton painted castles or cityscapes and stuff on the various buckets they were using. Didn't seem... they all grew something. Then there's Louis. There's mint, thyme, sage, and basil. Louis is the oldest one, right? 1988? Yeah. Oh yeah, oldest by a margin, huh? So Louis is 4 years older than Milton, and Milton is 7 years older than Edith. But they were both importantly, alive when she was alive. Neither of them died before she was born. So Lewis, at the older age, had this whole place where she was actually, where he was actually labeling what he was growing and probably growing specific things for specific reasons. Milton might have just been doing whatever by comparison, but had some fun with it. And Edith was probably exceptionally young at the time. Everything's colorful, there's little dolls and stuff it's posed in it. I wouldn't be surprised if other people were actually setting up the actual planting with these things, and she was just kind of there and saying what to do and being like, let's put the little people on, because at that age... Oh, look at Dawn. Detailed, compartmentalized. Efficient. Disciplined. Military upbringing versus exceptionally young age from somebody who traveled the world. Like, all these different gaps and changes in approach.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
So who built this extra crazy part is what I'm wondering, because the crazy builder of the family died a long time ago. This is something different. That deck is still taunting me out there. They have the weirdest view. Especially with the meaning of it all. They just have this overlooking tragedy that was the founding thing of the entire household, just waiting and watching out there.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
How crazy would it be to grow up in a room this high up? That's not like some sort of city location. Oh. Our family history, fact or fiction? So they turned their own history into a game because of how strange it's gotten. And there's the names of all the people, so they learned all these stories. Are they better off telling them or not telling them about the family history and how messed up it is? I wonder. I guess that partly relies on whether or not the actual history is real, the cursed part, or if it's just coincidences and people overthinking it, and maybe even people self-dooming themselves to an extent based on what they think they know. Analyze objectively, never stop learning, assume nothing, respect criticism, ask tough questions. It's as we heard before, how to teach your children critical thinking. That book she was reading. That is some good stuff. Teach your children how to ask questions. Teach them how to teach themselves. It's great. Because if they just repeat stuff back constantly, then they never really truly learn. And then they become the type of people that stubbornly and emotionally cling to what they think without ever being willing to accept that they're wrong about something, or even question why they think something in the first place, and make the progress towards the actual reality. Odin Finch. The Curse. Myth, history. I don't think I can read any of this, right? There's no way. They have a categorized library here. Dungeon Master. Kingdoms and Castles. Ooh. Masters of Game Design. Making games with C++. Game Design Notebook. Ooh. There's a game design. Okay, yeah. They got into D&D and then someone started getting into the ideas of making games. They must be sorted by author, because they're definitely not sorted by titles. Look at all this. So they're being homeschooled. Probably because she was terrified to lose her children, and so she wanted to keep them around. Smartypedia. Teach and to learn. 7 ways to create fulfilling classroom. Dawn Finch. Oh, she wrote a book about teaching. So she really got into this. Not only did she homeschool her kids in these little desks right here, well, with her computer. Look at this. She has her own office and everything. So she homeschooled her children in an own little self-built home classroom and everything, which is fantastic. But she even wrote a book about homeschooling in general. But yeah, I get the feeling that she may have been into the idea of homeschooling because she didn't want to let her children out of her sight, because she was afraid that they would succumb to the same thing that happens to everyone else in this family. Relief efforts end in disaster. That may be telling us what happened to Sanjay. Hundreds of relief volunteers are injured or dead after the effects of a second earthquake. So they're out doing humanitarian work? Oh yeah, that pretty much seals the deal there. So they're out doing humanitarian work, and an earthquake ends in Sanjay dying. And then they come back here. This is a cool room.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Oh! What is going on here? They gave Milton a castle, a room full of paintings. Okay, we're gonna have to go investigate now. Guess what game we're playing next? So, this room is filled with references to their previous game, The Unfinished Swan. That's why there's this dangling thread of one sibling that's missing, as opposed to dead, and they still entertain that idea? Oh man. Playing through that game through the filter of thinking about this game is going to be interesting. Dang it, now I've got two games I want to play after this one, because there's another game I want to play just because it has a similar title, and that reminds me of that how I've wanted to play it for a long time, which is The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I'm like, yeah, the Remains of Edith Finch. What Remains of Edith Finch and The Vanishing of Ethan Carter? Just put those back to back. But now I've got to do Unfinished Swan first, because I gotta think about this room and what's going on in this game while looking through that game again. Because I haven't touched that game in, I don't know, 6 years or something? However old it is. Oh, this is interesting. It's covered in vines, just like an unfinished swan, and the entire castle's just pure white, like an unfinished swan. I don't necessarily think we'll get straight-up answers. I think it's all going to be vague-ish, but this is new texture to look at. Oh boy. Look at this, painting black on white. Because that's what you did in that game. Everything was pure white, and you would paint black over it, and that would make the details become uncovered in the background. And only through painting with black would you realize what anything around you was. How old was he? So Milton was 11 when he disappeared. He disappeared when he was 11. They got this house when he was 10. Was Milton the king or the protagonist in Unfinished Swan? Look at that. This is a fun reference to their previous game. Can I look through this backwards, I wonder? No, that's not how... Wait, that's not how viewing holes work. Look at that. That's the airship. Yeah, that's the castle. Is that the first level of Unfinished Swan? That might be the first level. Yeah, there's the... That's the pond.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
There's the frog. I did not know at all that we were going to connect these two games. Oh, this is neat. Yeah, these are straight up sketches of the first level of Unfinished Swan. Okay, this is cool. This is cool. Oh my god. Oh, so he's the king then, right? Look at that. How neat is that? Milton, 1992. He had the king's crown on him. Yep. Yep. White canvas was where all the details are revealed by black paint. Students take note. Extra, extra. American newspaper available. Can't really make it out very well. Turning points in history. So much paint. Chronicling America. Oh, this one's even more readable at least. Oh, it's just a brand new newspaper. It's just like I think it's the introductory issue of the newspaper. It's just explaining its own existence. Murder probe, clues exhausted. Oh yeah, the contents of these newspapers don't matter. He's just putting newspapers down for his painting, isn't he? Probably because directly underneath is the room where he sleeps in, but it doesn't seem like the, Oh wow, the entire thing went up. I thought I just rode the rope up, but the entire thing was an elevator. This is a ridiculously cool bedroom. But yeah, there's all these newspapers are down to catch the paint going everywhere, probably. Not the best plan to paint above where you sleep. This is a trip.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
How do I do this? That got weird.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
So he's the one sibling. Even the drawing is a sketch of the cartoon character representation of him above all else. First of all, there was a crazy meta moment there where the flip book had another flip book inside of it, so that was bizarre to look at, but the suggestion is that he painted a door and just walked right through it and left us. Interesting. I barely remember the story of that game, so I need to go back and... Oh, that's a weird moment there. I need to go back and review how that game works. I've never done it on this channel before. You might be the one person who escaped the curse. I don't remember what happened to the king, but I mean, I don't think he was 11, at the very least.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Look just like each other, don't they? So you can almost interpret that as just maybe he just ran away. He did paint the exact same door, but maybe he went through there into the painting. Maybe he is genuinely gone. It's hard to say. Hard to say, because you gotta figure out whether or not you should think this stuff's literal or not.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Because Unfinished Swan was a fantastical game, which you then would have probably look at as being a game that's probably a metaphor for something that's actually happening for real, like Papa and Yo, which is a game about, like, abuse, like family abuse, but it's expressed through like a Last Guardian style escapist fantasy version of what's going on. Haven't played that one through yet either. Maybe we'll get to that sometime. Oh man, I didn't see that coming, and maybe I should have.